Jannik Sinner sat across from reporters after one of the biggest matches of his career, and when they asked him what went wrong, he gave them the most honest answer possible. He wasn't making excuses. He wasn't blaming the conditions or his equipment or anything else. He simply said he was half a step late. That's it. Half a step. That's all it took to lose to the most dominant player in the history of professional tennis. Novak Djokovic was sitting on 24 Grand Slam titles, the most decorated tennis player who has ever lived. And after that match, Djokovic did something remarkable. He sat in front of the cameras and admitted something that shocked the entire tennis world. He said he was just half a step late in basically any shot. He said Sinner was just one step better than him, and he wasn't sharp enough, not reactive enough, not balanced enough to play him. He said there's not much he could do on the court. Think about that for a second. The greatest of all time admitting on record that he had no answer. Who was he talking about? A 22-year-old from a tiny town in the mountains of northern Italy. His name is Jannik Sinner. What Sinner has accomplished in the last 2 years has never happened before in over 100 years of tennis history. In June 2024, Sinner became the first Italian man in history to reach world #1. First ever. In a sport that has existed since the 1800s, in a country that is completely obsessed with tennis, with packed stadiums and a massive amateur scene and millions of fans who live and breathe the sport. And still, for over a century, no Italian man had ever stood at the top of the world rankings. Let that sink in. Generations of Italian fans, grandparents, parents, kids, all of them cheering, all of them hoping. And none of them ever got to see it happen until Sinner. The thing people miss is that Italy didn't lack talent. They had good players before. What they never had was proof. Proof that an Italian man could actually be the best in the world at this sport. For 50 years, Italian tennis fans didn't have that proof. Sinner didn't just win a trophy. He answered a question an entire country had stopped asking. But here's what people don't know about him. Before any of this, tennis almost wasn't even his sport. When Sinner was a kid, he wasn't dreaming about Wimbledon. He was skiing and he was really good at it. Between the ages of 8 and 12, he was one of the best junior skiers in all of Italy. This wasn't some hobby he casually dropped. This was a real path he was on. But skiing is dangerous. Sinner said it himself. One wrong fall and you can lose an entire season. Tennis, he said, is different. You can see your opponent. You can adjust. So he made a choice. At 13 years old, he left his hometown of Sesto. He left his family in South Tyrol. He moved alone, hundreds of miles away to a tennis academy on the Italian Riviera run by a coach named Riccardo Piatti. 13 years old, alone in a new place, chasing something that wasn't even guaranteed to work out. And then it started working. In 2019, Sinner won the Next Gen ATP Finals in Milan, a tournament built specifically for the best under-21 players in the world. That win made him the youngest Italian in history to win an ATP tournament. That same year, he picked up multiple challenger titles, got named the Tour's Newcomer of the Year, and finished the season inside the top 80 in the world. As an 18-year-old who had barely even played the standard junior circuit, it felt like the beginning of something huge. Like the story was writing itself. Then it fell apart. Sinner was 2 sets up in a Grand Slam match in Paris against Juan Manuel Cerundolo. 2 sets up in a best-of-5. That's about as close to a guaranteed win as you can get. He lost. It was his earliest Grand Slam exit since 2023. His coach Darren Cahill wouldn't even go into details about what happened, calling it a private matter. No excuses, no big statement, just a loss that made people start asking the question doubters love to ask. Was this the same guy who beat Djokovic? Or was this a kid who collapses the moment the pressure gets real? The pressure was only getting bigger because at the top of men's tennis right now, nobody gets a free pass. Take his rivalry with Carlos Alcaraz. People call it Sinkeraz. They've played 16 times including 6 meetings at majors. And the last 8 Grand Slams between them have been split perfectly even. 4 titles each since Sinner's first major win in 2024. Nobody is running away with anything. And then there's Djokovic again because remember, the quote you heard at the start wasn't the end of their story. Their most recent match, the 2026 Australian Open semi-final, actually went the other way. Djokovic won in 5 sets at 38 years old. He ended Sinner's 5-match winning streak and proved that even now he could still beat the best player in the world on the biggest stage there is. So picture where Sinner is standing. A collapse in Paris behind him. A legend who can still beat him in front of him. A rival in Alcaraz matching him win for win. This is not a clean, easy path to the top. This is a fight every single time he steps on the court. So what did Sinner do? Nothing dramatic, no big announcement, no interview explaining his comeback plan. His coach Darren Cahill actually described what really happened behind the scenes during a stretch when Sinner couldn't even officially compete. Cahill said he even jumped in the umpire's chair and had the clock on him in between 25 seconds, trying to get him into the rhythm of playing points and playing matches to make sure that when he got hit in Rome, he hit the ground running. His own coach sitting in the umpire's chair, running a stopwatch, issuing fake code violations, just to keep Sinner's timing sharp. Simulating real match pressure when there was no real match to play. That's not a highlight reel. That's just work nobody was watching. And then Rome happened. Back in 1976, a man named Adriano Panatta did something no Italian man has repeated since. He won the Italian Open in Rome on home soil. For 50 years, that win just sat there untouched. Every Italian player who came after him tried and failed. 50 years of almost. 50 years of close, but not quite. Sinner made it to the final. And sitting in the crowd that day, 75 years old, was Panatta himself. Not on television, not in an interview after the fact, actually there, watching. The way you'd watch to see if the record you've held for half your life is finally about to belong to someone else. Sinner won. He walked straight over to Panatta afterward. Not a handshake for the cameras. He looked at him and said, "After 50 years, we've won back a very important trophy." 50 years of Italian tennis fans waiting for that sentence. And the man who understood it best in that entire stadium was the 75-year-old sitting right there to hear it. When you watch Sinner lift a trophy, remember that behind it there's a mother who let her son go at 13 years old, not knowing if any of this would ever happen. It happened. Half a step late, Djokovic said. 22 years old. First Italian man in history at world number 1. A 50-year drought closed out in Rome in front of the one man who understood exactly what it meant.